always technical problems right first, right? Am I straight now? Okay. I hope that you can hear me. I have a different setup than I'm used to. My new laptop does not have a webcam on it, so I have my laptop down here, and I'm using my phone as a webcam. So I might forget to look up, but I'm going to do my best. So it's been a few months since I've been on YouTube. I'm not going to get super into it, but basically I've had a year kind of just like everybody else. So now I'm back. I don't know how often I'll be posting. I'm not going to make any promises or anything, but I thought that it would be fun to do a live and show you the things that have been growing over the past year. I have struggled with bugs this year, which is part of why I haven't posted it. I had a pretty bad thrip infestation. They were everywhere. I still have some melee bugs, but I think I mostly got them under control. But it's pretty miserable dealing with bugs, and your plants look like crap. Anyway, I'll show you that later. But I do have a lot of successful things. I have a couple of my boxes here. I have I call this one my baby box. This is the when they're really little, when they're just starting, and then they grow up and they move into a bigger box after they've been potted for a while and they've got some good roots going on. So I'll show you what's in both of those. I'll show you some of my special plants that I've gotten over the past few months. This one's very new. This one I got just a week ago now. But I have lots of things that have been growing and have been doing well, so I'll show you all some of those. I don't know how many people we're going to have join us in the live, but if anybody has like house plant questions, I'll be happy to answer some of those. I'll probably let them accumulate, and I might write them down as we go, and I'll answer some house plant questions if I get them at the end. So the last thing before I get started, I do want to acknowledge, I don't know how many people watch a lot of plant YouTube stuff right now, but there's some controversy. I'm absolutely not getting involved. But I do want to say that part of the reason that I haven't been on YouTube is that I feel like we need to be lifting up and listening to the voices of Black and Indigenous creators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link after this video will get posted after the stream is over, and I'll link some of my favorite Black and Indigenous makers and creators, and I'll have those links in the description box after. I really encourage you to go and take a look. Some of the stuff that people are doing is absolutely amazing, and they have much more value to say on the topic than I do, for sure. So I'll just encourage you to come back after the live stream and about 20 minutes, and I'll have it up with all of the links there. So what do we want to do first? I think I'll show you some of the bug damaged plants that have recovered really well. They had a rough time. The first one is my Monstera Siltipacana, which I actually thought I was going to lose entirely. If you see, like, some of the older leaves are pretty rough. They had a really hard time. They got attacked really badly when I had thrips, and the leaves on this plant are really thin and very sensitive. So I very nearly lost it entirely. It had a really rough go of it. It completely stopped growing for a couple of months. But as you can see now, the top leaves are just really beautiful. And I have chopped it a little bit and did a trace and wanted the cutting. And if you look in the bottom, we have a bunch of new little shoots that are all coming up. So not bad, we're recovering. It takes time, and then there's a new growth point at the tip, of course, as well. So that's my Monstera Siltipacana. Um, Honestly, this is one of all of my plants are like my favorite plants, but like I really like this one. I had a really hard time getting cuttings to root from it though. I think my success has been like maybe 1 in 5, and 4 of them will just melt. And I've tried putting them in water, I've tried putting them in fish water, I've tried putting them directly in a fish tank, I've tried putting them in sphagnum moss, I've tried perlite, I've tried leca. I just, I think the next thing I might try is air layering once this grows a little bit more. But just for me, it's a hard plant to root. The leaves just melt as soon as they're not attached. So I don't know if anybody has any tips for that. Definitely feel free to message me. But it had a really rough time. All of this damage is old. Like you can see the new leaves are completely unaffected. Like there's no more bugs, but they had a really rough time. I lost a lot of leaves on this plant. You can't really tell, but it did. And then the other one that I'll show you that have a kind of a difficult time is this. So this is a Stanleya variegated. It's obviously doing really well now, but you can see some of the leaves got pretty badly damaged. And that's because this leaf in particular was really new when I had this. There's a couple of smaller leaves at the bottom here. It's tricky. I don't know if you can see, but it had a really rough time of it as well. I wasn't as worried about this one as the siliconic because the leaves are like quite a bit thicker. But now it's putting out like honestly probably a leaf a week at this point. It's grown really quickly. So I really, really love it. There are 3 plants in this pot, so you can kind of see the variegation is different depending on which plant, but this is one. And then there's another over here, and this big one is the third one. So, but I really like this plant. I've had a lot of luck rooting cuttings. It roots really easily, it's really fast. And the variegation is stable, which is a nice thing. A lot of plants are variegated. I'm going to talk about this in a second. A lot of plants that are variegated, the variegation isn't stable. So what that means is that it's not genetically in the plant. It's just sort of a random mutation. And just like it randomly mutated to be variegated, it can randomly revert to being like a plain normal green plant. The Stanleya isn't like that. It's variegated at the genetic level, which is similar to the Munster Thai constellation. This is also a stable variegation, so they won't revert to fully green. The variegation can be more or less drastic depending on things like light and humidity, but it won't completely go back to being green, which is nice. I'm liking that more and more. I will show you a plant that reverted. We got it. So I have a couple of these, and this is a philodendron burl marks. So as you can see, I bought it as a variegated one. The older leaves are pretty nicely variegated. And then we went full green. So this one actually did fine with the thrips, but we have, I think, fully reverted. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to keep it. I've already chopped it once to see if I could try and get the variegation to come back. But I didn't really have any luck because the next leaf obviously is big and beautiful, but it's also solid green. So that's not amazing, but whatever. So I really like the variegated burl marks. So I bought another one. This one is a smaller one, obviously. It's not an amazing shape. I just got it recently in a trade. And it, there we go. It has a lot of variegation on the leaves. It doesn't look like some of it is fading. It's a little damaged. It's in dirt on these. But I'm hoping the variegation is strong enough that it will stay in this plant, I guess. But these are ones that do not have a stable variegation. So they can revert and turn green. We'll see. That was still new to me. We'll see how he does. I haven't even watered it yet. It's that new. The last sort of variegated one that I'll show you at the moment is my Syngonium albo. This is honestly one of my favorite plants. I probably have at least 4, maybe 5 separate plants in this pot, but I really want like a big full one. So it's been a couple of months. I had one, I chopped it and propped it, and I got this little teeny one in a swap. So I put them all together. We're all growing leaves. We're doing really well. You can see some of the stems are partly reverted. So we'll see how it does. I think it just needed to get settled. And frankly, I was bugging it a lot. I repotted it like 3 times, and I did chopping, and it just needs to settle and like be in one place, and it'll be fine. But some of the plants that are in here have really beautifully variegated new leaves. And there's this one in the back. So those are all lovely. We'll see how it does. I really love this plant, honestly. It's a really easy grower for me. I haven't had any trouble with it. I don't even think it got thrips when I had them. But if it did, I mean, I don't think it lost any leaves. I think it's just fine, which is lovely. It has been about, I think, September or October was the last time I saw thrips. So it's been a couple of months. So I'm pretty sure at this point that they're gone because I haven't seen any thrips or thrip damage since about October at the latest. So I'm pretty sure that they're gone. I did have to treat everything, which was really awful, to be honest. I spent a couple of days like manually cleaning my plants. I had mealies at the same time, so I just treated for both. So for mealies, you take hydrogen peroxide and you manually remove mealies from each plant. So it's like taking your plant and looking under the leaves and removing any bugs, looking at the top of the leaves, looking at the whole stem, looking inside the petiole, any nooks and crannies where bugs can hide. Honestly, I had more trouble with the thrips in that they were causing more damage. The mealies I still have here and there, but I have a few plants that I'm treating that are in quarantine. They're not interspersed. But I didn't notice that they actually cause much damage. So while I'm not pleased about them, I wasn't as upset as I was dealing with the thrips. So yeah, it sucked. It was really frustrating. I have no idea where they came from because I was constantly bringing in new plants. I wasn't quarantining very well because I was looking over the plants individually, and I never found thrips on a plant that was coming in, so I really don't know where they came from. They could have come from a plant I bought from a Home Depot or from a Canadian Tire, or from one that I swapped. I don't know. I just don't know. I really have no idea where they came from. So it was awful though. Let's do some fun stuff. Let's look at the babies. So I'm just gonna pull. I should have made more room on my counter. I'm gonna pull my baby box over and just set it right in front. You can see this is a very fancy setup. I actually got this lid from Canadian Tire in their seed starting section. It's a pretty flimsy plastic, but it's actually not. So if you get the smaller seed starting kits, the lids are only about this tall. This, as you can see, is quite a lot bigger, and it's actually made of a thicker plastic than those little short ones. So it's a little bit more durable. It did come with like little plastic skinny vent covers, but I lost them immediately because they fell off, and I have no idea where they went. So I used these, which is very high tech. This is a piece of saran wrap. And this is a little bag that I gotta drop in with the lid. And when I want more ventilation, I take one off, and otherwise I leave them both on. Very high. There. And we'll bring the babies over. So most of these are plants that I traded for at this point. There are a few that I purchased, and there are a few that are cuttings from some of my own plants. Or if I swap and it's a plant that I really want, I'll try and get a couple of nodes and I'll cut the growth tip off, and then I'll immediately propagate it so that I can make a fuller pot. So some of these are that, basically. What should we look at first? This is a strawberry begonia. This is probably the least exciting plant that's in here. I haven't really even looked at it in a couple of months, but it's pretty cute. I just know that they need humidity, so I tend to leave it in here, and honestly, I'm really happy. So the other reason that it's in here is it seems to be kind of like a mealy trap. I have mealies on it right now, and I know it seems crazy to put it in with like my special propagations, but I found that if I put this plant in here, then the mealies go to this plant, and I can find them all and treat them. And I'm finding little to no mealies on any of the rest of them. And I'm checking. Like, this is a special propagation box. I'm checking it all the time. This is not something that I'm leaving alone forever. So I don't know. It's working for me right now. This is a weed, but I'm a sucker, so I'm not calling it. I have no idea what it is. This little prop that's in here is a Florida Ghost cutting. I don't know if that will focus, but it does have a tiny little bit of green, but otherwise it looks awful. It doesn't have any roots. I don't throw them out until they completely rot. I've had a few things come back from the dead. Like this is a little stick. That's a pink princess cutting that I got as a freebie with a trade. It has a little leaf on it, so we're gonna keep it. I'm just gonna let it do its thing until it literally falls apart. I just keep them until they fall apart. What else down here? This is a little bit of grass, probably from my aquarium, but it's humid enough in the box usually that it stays fine. But I usually water these with fish tank water. You can see that most of these cups, like I'm sure you'll notice, most of these cups have, it's either algae or the moss has come back to life. I don't notice that it does anything negative for my plants, so I don't worry about it if the moss turns green for one reason or another. Plants don't seem to care, so I don't care. This is a cutting of a lime fiddle that I did a trade for, and this is like it's still a solid cutting. It's fine. It's got some little root nubbins. It just hasn't done anything yet. I've had this for a couple months, so it's still solid. Like, it's not rotting. We're gonna leave it, and hopefully I'll get a plant out of it eventually. This is a very stubborn Megan's cutting, which has some new growth on it, but does not have any roots. So we'll see. Same thing. We're just gonna leave it be until it grows. For some reason, this cup just does not hold the water as well as all of the rest of them, but I don't know. Megan's cutting. This is a Syngonium Silver Splash. So this is when I have a whole pot of it in this silver one back there. But this is when I took a cutting off of the plant that I bought or traded for, I'm not sure which, and it immediately rooted it. As you can see, it has rooted like crazy. I love these teeny little cups. If I could have everything in them, I would, but I haven't actually found out where to purchase them. I think I have 2 or 3, and they're the perfect size. They're exactly what I want, but I haven't found out where to buy them. I've just got them with plants I've traded for. You can see this little silver splash has a little growth spike. Very happy about that. Then I have some little makeshift stuff. This is a little begonia prop we're trying. It's not super happy. I probably should have left it attached for longer, but still alive. We have, this is the first ZZ that I ever propped. I grew it from a leaf cutting, and it grew 2 little leaves about a year ago. It hasn't done anything since. So this is how slow ZZ props grow. For anyone who's interested, very slow. I have a little Sansevieria, got water stuck in, little snake plant baby that I got as a trade from somebody, probably with something else. We have a bunch of syndapses in here right now. This one's in Argarius. Actually, I think 3 cuttings in here right now, but I do have some new growth. We have some roots. It's doing really well. I started using all of these clear cups so that I could see when the roots started growing, because otherwise I was just pulling them out to check all the time, which is like terrible for propagating. Another cis, this one's I think this one is exotica. Cute. We also have more roots. This one's potted in soil in a little cup, so he'll be ready to be potted up and go into a bigger box in a couple of weeks. New growth at the top. Nice little spike there. Very pleased. What else do I have in here? I want to move on, so I'll just show you the things that I'm most excited about. I have this Syngonium wendlandii, which is new to me. I did purchase this one months. But we've got lots of good little roots growing, and this new leaf just popped out this week. So it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Love it. Beautiful little plant. And then this one is a melanochrysum. Little cutting I just got as a wet stick. It's gorgeous. I might, I don't know how well my camera is focusing, I can't really tell. But I might put up pictures of some of the special ones on my Instagram later. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the video description if you want to see my Instagram. Mostly it's about cats and plants. So if that's what you're into, it'll be perfect. But this gorgeous little melanochrysum, I'm just hoping we put out some little roots soon. Teeny little baby plant. I love growing from cuttings. It's so much fun. I also have a Trebui dark form in here with a seed cutting. Pretty little dark form. This one I did cut into 2 cuttings just so that I could get some extra out of it. And I've only had this like maybe a month, and we're already putting a little shoot. So I heard that they grow really slow, but doing really well in the prop box. And then I have a Trebui moonlight in here. We've got a Syndapsis silver lady. This is beautiful. Just gorgeous little leaves. It has put out a new leaf, but I split the cutting, so the new leaf isn't doing amazingly. That's fine. Not a big deal. It'll grow more. So this is sort of the special baby box. The other things are special also. They're just not quite as delicate. So this box with a clear lid sits on top of a heating pad with LED lights that actually touch the top of the plastic container. So it gets really high light. It's nice and warm. My closet I also have wrapped in a space blanket, an emergency space blanket. I bought at Canadian Tire just to reflect extra light. So it's really bright. It's really humid. It's really warm. And I have amazing luck with propagations. Pretty much everything I put in there does really, really well. Obviously, succulents don't super like it, and some Hoya that don't like being wet melt. But other than that, everything does really well in there. So I'm just going to remove these. And then, so this is what I do after they grow up a little bit. When they get potted into like an actual pot, I tend to put them in a box like this. They sit side by side, same thing. They sit under light. heat pad at the bottom, so that they're nice and warm, very, very bright. This one has a clear tote lid. This one has a white tote lid. Honestly, I've never noticed the difference between this one growing faster than that one. I haven't poked any ventilation holes in it, but I also peek on them 2 or 3 times a week. So they are getting ventilation in them. It's not like they're staying stagnant and wet and cold and whatever. So if you do this, you do need to check them fairly often. And when they come out of here, they need to acclimate. So when this whole box is ready, or if a plant is ready, I usually have another propagation box just like this, but it doesn't sit right under the lights and right on the heat mat. So they'll still be in the box, it'll still be humid, but it'll be cooler and it won't be as bright. This whole room is still really, really bright. So we don't really need these everywhere. There's usually a bulb back here. There's a really bright sun lamp there. The window is not south facing, it's north facing, I think. So I don't have any direct sunlight coming in the window, so everything is just from the lights in this room pretty much they grow. Anyway, so you do need to be prepared to acclimate it to a more room temperature when less humid and less bright environment, and you do have to do it fairly slowly. If I just took something out of here, actually I'll show you exactly what happens, because this mandula is super mad at me, because that's exactly what I did. I took this mandula out of a box just like this, and I just set it on the table, and that was ages ago, and the leaves are still not forgiving me. They're very, very sad. It's super mad about it. There's still growth coming in, and the new growth looks fine. It's just the older leaves were really damaged by that sudden shock. So you do have to do it slowly. You can't just rush it. Very sad mandula. Everything else in this box is very happy. So I have, I'll show you a couple of my favorites. I finally have got string of hearts. This is a variegated string of hearts. I do have a regular one behind me here, but this is a variegated string of hearts, and I'm just propagating it. I'm going to pin these all back down and fill in the pot, and then eventually let it grow. But this is I think my 3rd try variegated string of hearts. Don't have super great luck with them. They don't usually like to be really wet. So when I water this box, I don't water this pot. It just gets enough ambient humidity that I don't need to water it. And it's not dry, but they're fine, they're happy. So it's working. I have, this is I think it's green slash, Syngonium green slash. I'll have to double check. But I got this recently from a local seller. We put out a new leaf just like this week. See it back there. There we go. Very new, cute little happy leaf. I really like this little plant. It's really cute. The variegation is just adorable, and the leaves are like little heart-shaped ones. This is so cute. I'm totally crazy about Syngonium, and this one is absolutely adorable. So I'll definitely be getting more of those. Not this one specifically, but different types of Syngonium. And then what else? This is the Shangri-La pothos I got as part of the trade. I have a silver dragon. I got this as a trade. I really love this little plant. It's put out the two leaves since I've gotten it. It's really happy in this box. This newest leaf is a more mature leaf. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It's such a cute little plant. I cannot wait until it's bigger and a little bit more hardy and can come out into the plant room in general. The thing that surprised me most about this plant is I've had alocasia. Like I have an alocasia poly, but I think that was the only other alocasia that I had before I got this one. No, I have a product that I got earlier this year. But this is an alocasia silver dragon, which has been on my wish list since I started collecting plants ages ago. But I never followed one before. I've never seen one in person. And the leaves are a lot stiffer than I thought that they would be. Like normal leaves are sort of like floppy, and if you feel them like they'll the molds your finger, you sort of grab them. These are actually really stiff. And the ribbing that they have underneath them is, it feels like ribbing or like bone if you have like a corset or a dress with boning, and it's quite firm, which I was not expecting, and I love it, and it's so cute. I cannot wait for it to miniature more and have like more silver on it. It's just such a cute plant. What else do I have here? I have my Brazil. This is a cream splash that I have grown. This thing grows like crazy. I got one plant and it probably had 6 or 7 different nodes on it, but it was all growing like sort of long and leggy and sad looking. So as soon as I got it home, I snipped it all up into single nodes, and I rooted it in my little crop box. And I've only had this, since August. So I guess that's like 6 months now. But in 6 months, I've got like a full little plant. And you can see like the older leaves here are the ones that came with the plant. So they're not all that variegated. The cream isn't showing up all that much. But then in the newest leaves, like they're really, really variegated. Lots of green, very little dark green. Yeah, it's so cool. And because it's in the crop box, like you can see it's got little roots growing and they're really healthy. So every time I see that, I just, wait a little bit and then I cut it and I'll stick that right back in the dirt or put it in some moss in the crop box. And when it goes back in this little pot, that's how it's got so full so quickly. But it's just growing like crazy. Around the same time, I got this, and I've been looking for it for ages and ages. And this is a variegated heartleaf philodendron. So like the regular vining heartleaf, this is the variegated version of it. And I searched really hard. I had to get a cutting shipped to me from a lady in Ontario. And this is an absolutely gorgeous plant. I don't think there's very many other people here that have it. I will be doing trades at some point because I know a lot of people want it, but I want to have a bigger pot first before I really do any trades with it. Right now, this is just 2 cuttings. They both have new growth coming, so I'm going to let them grow a couple of growth points, snip it, prop them, put them back in, and then when it's more full like this cream splash, I'll let it grow a little bit, and then I'll be ready for cutting. So probably at least another 6 months, just because it's too pretty. I got the cutting because I wanted a pot of it. So focusing on that first. So that's sort of the special stuff that I have in here. I have a few other things that are projects, but I do, if I'm not looking in here, like when I look in here, I tend to vent it. But if I'm not actively looking at the plants that are in there, I do keep the lid on. And then it usually goes right back under the heat. And this is sort of the next step of grow up boxes. So there's less in this one. If they're special and they grow up, they typically go in here. If they're less special, I'll often swap or pot them and then immediately acclimate them to be in this room. This room in particular is brighter and warmer than basically all the other rooms in our house. So I use it to acclimate if I want to move something to another room. But it's also good for acclimating a plant typically out of the box and into the room as a whole. If they go straight from like being in the heat mat, being a baby box, to being in the room, it can shock them. And depending on like what your cuttings are, it can be too much. So anyway, so these ones have all been potted up, and there's just a couple of things in here. One of them is this really big one. So this is a philodendron painted lady cutting that I got from a friend. Thank you, Rebecca. She's the one I did a plant tour with her last year in December. She got really lucky and bought a full pot of this a really good deal at a local nursery. I missed out on that, but she gave me a cutting of hers, which was so generous. And it's just absolutely stunning. And it has beautiful variegation. The stem is this like beautiful blush pink color. I don't know if that's coming through on camera nicely, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful color. It has a ton of new growth since I got it. It only had these 2 leaves when I got the cutting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves since I got it. And that was in September, I think, mid-September, late September. So it's just growing like crazy. I've had to pot it up twice because these aerial roots are just crazy. I know I could cut this, but to be honest, this is another one. I want a bigger pot for myself before I do any swaps. So I absolutely love it. Especially, like, I'm not really a pink person, but the sort of blush pink on the new stems is really lovely. Let's put that. Go back this way. There we go. And then also a special plant. I just repotted this and already these aerial roots are going crazy. So this is my Gloriosa. I got 2 pieces, like I guess 2 chunks in a trade months ago. I don't even remember what I traded it for. But when I got it from the girl, she hadn't had any growth from either of them in, she said something like 9 months. But this one, after she agreed to trade it with me, she noticed it had a growth on it. So I felt a little bad, but she got a good trade out of it. And this one has obviously done really, really well. I've got 2 new leaves out of it, and there's a 3rd one on the way. Spike there. So it started rooting really well. At some point I might cut it off this chunk just to see if I can get another plant, but I'm not in a real hurry with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful little plant, and it's super healthy, growing like crazy. I just love it. The other piece of the chunk, these came to me separate, is this one, and it still has done nothing for me. That's fine. It's not rotting. It's still solid. I'm gonna hang on to it till it basically falls apart or grows something. So we'll see. We'll see. Both of them have roots when I got them. And then the last thing that's in here is one of my. I showed you the burrow marks earlier. This is another one that I got. This one did get badly damaged by thrips. It lost all of its leaves. So now I have many leaves. The good news is that the plant had been losing its variegation, and I'm pretty sure, it's hard to tell how small these leaves are. I'm pretty sure that we are going to get variegation now that it's growing again. So, I mean, we'll see once the plant gets bigger. It's got a ways to grow, obviously. I may end up trading this depending on how the other one I have does. I might end up combining the 3 that I have into one pot. I don't know, but I have options. So that's pretty well everything that's in this box. This pink lady obviously is kind of outgrowing her space. So soon she's going to have to be moved and put in this room. I just would like to get a couple of leaves first, and then I might take the top off. We'll see. We'll see. So those are kind of my special babies right now. What else have I got? I guess I said I would talk about this one a little bit. So I bought this one from a local seller. I thought for a long time about getting it. I got a really good price on this plant. I'm not going to be sharing where I bought it. It wasn't a great experience. I did get a good price on the plant. That's about all I'm going to say about how I got it. I had been considering an elbow. I got some Christmas money, so I decided to buy myself a special plant, essentially. So this is a Monstera Thai constellation. I hadn't really been looking at a Thai constellation because I wanted something with a fair amount of weight. Most Thai constellations look like this leaf, sort of at the best, or like this leaf. So like freckling, splashy, but like not a ton of white. The weight is so this is still very new leaf. As the leaf hardens, it will the green will turn like darker like these ones, and the white will turn sort of more of a cream color. But I hadn't really been looking at type constellation because I wanted something with more white. I had thought about it because the type constellation is a stable variegation, whereas the Monstera albo is not a stable variegation, and so you have to actually work and know what you're doing to maintain it, and that involves things like cutting it back. So, like for example, Syngonium albo has the same type of variation. It's random variegation, and it can revert to all green, as you can see from this leaf. So if this was a Monstera albo and I wanted to maintain sort of this level of variegation or better, I would go back to, after to a green leaf, you go back to a node below, and you would snip off that green leaf, and you would hope that the stem, which is variegated, you can see it better in the constellation, the stem. So the stem is actually stripy. So you would go back in your Monstera albo to a part where the stem was stripy like that, and you would cut at a node. So the stem is striped, and you hope that the new growth point comes out and is nicely variegated. I didn't really want to have to do that. That's kind of a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. Monstera albos are also not quite double the price of these guys, but some of, like, they really get up there. So that was a much higher budget than I was really looking at. And then I saw this particular type constellation. And as you can see, the new leaf has a lot of white, which will be green. Really good variegation, and it's becoming fenestrated, which is the splits in leaves. So I got this one. I'm happy with this. I like type constellations that have more white. The variegation is stable. So even if all the leaves on the plant look like this, I will be happy with that. It's just a cool looking leaf. There is a little bit of texture to the leaves if you're up close. So the Monstera leaves are flat, green, solid, standard. But if they're variegated, the way the variegation works is it's in about 3 layers of the plant tissue, and each layer that has no pigment is actually thinner than a layer that has pigment. So if you look at it up close, it has like a stippled texture almost. Anyway, I'm really pleased with this plant. I was happy to add it to my collection. It was kind of a stressful experience, but we have moved past it, and I'm really glad to keep it. We'll see if I can keep this level of variegation. I do have a lot of bright lights. It's very warm in here. I do have a humidifier that I can run when I need to. But I'm also, Monstera are a pretty hardy plant, and I'm not looking to super baby it. So I'm pleased that the variegation will be stable. It's just sort of one less thing that I want to worry about. So I have a couple of special spots for it to go, and I'm really happy with this one. I thought really hard about getting it, but they're an easier one to look after. This one was as an import, obviously, but it has been completely acclimated. So I feel like I know what I'm doing with these plants, and I'm happy with it. It's absolutely beautiful. This new leaf is just stunning. And if they all look like that, all the new leaves look like that, I'm going to be completely thrilled. So once again, I'm kind of at a point with most of my plants where I want to let them grow a little bit so that I can really enjoy them before I cut them. There are some that I'm happy to trim and sell or give away pieces of, but I've done a lot of that, and with some of my plants, I've regretted how much I've cut them, and I do want to share them with other people, but I bought the plant I got it cutting because I wanted a pot of it, and if sharing it or selling pieces of it means that I'm setting myself back, right now I'm just in a place where I want to be keeping them. I want big plants. I'll just keep a pile on there. One of the ones that I've cut often and have kind of regretted is my cedar blue. So there's a couple of you guys watching right now. I don't know if you know much about Cebu Blue, but this is a plant that's actually really hard to get in Edmonton. Now a fair number of people have cuttings. This plant has taken me over a year to get to this size. I got my first cutting at the very first Sandbar plant swap, and it was just a really small cutting, wasn't even rooted yet. So I rooted it up, and I've chopped and potted and everything a bunch of times, but you can also see in this pot, if you look closely, a lot of little like dead end sticks where I've cut. And I really have wanted to be able to share this plant because it is so hard to find. Like, it is not for sale anywhere. You cannot buy it from a store. Okay. In the States, you can go to Walmart and get a pot that's like where you can buy a pot those, like a big 8-inch pot, 6-inch pot that's completely full to bursting with Cebu Blue for like $10. The last time I saw a Cebu Blue in a store for sale, it was a string like this, like just this one piece with probably 4 or 5 nodes, and it was $100. And I've never seen it anymore since. Like, none of the specialty stores, none of the shops can. I don't think I've ever heard of any of them even getting it in. So it's a really hard plant to get here. So I'm just gonna, for now, I'm just gonna let it grow a bit and let it fill out. And I think I'm gonna treat it up a pole so that I get really big leaves. And then once it's big and beautiful and bushy, I'll have even more that I can cut and share at that point. But I absolutely love this little seafood plant. It's absolutely one of my favorites and has been for ages. All right, back in we go. Okay, I think that the last one that I'll show you is my Florida Ghost. I got 2 cuttings of the Florida Ghost in a trade in June of this year, and I almost killed them. That's what happened. I got a 2-node cutting with big beautiful leaves. It's very fresh cutting, and I almost killed them. So they both lost their leaf. They lost the first set of fruits that they did. One of them is the one I showed you first, and it's sad to look up that it looks like it's dying. The other one, finally, after 6 or 7 months, rooted and put out one little leaf. But before it did that, in the point period where I thought that they were both going to die, I still really wanted a Florida Ghost. So I saved it up a little bit, and I sort of put the word out to the specialty plant stores and to the plant community in the Edmonton area, and I was able to get 2 things. I was able to get another cutting from a friend, and I knocked the growth tip off of it 3 times. 3 times. I was so mad. I wish I killed this cutting. It kept producing a new growth tip, for which I'm very grateful. But just I had bad luck. I kept it getting like knocked over, or when I tried to pot it once, the growth tip snapped off. It was awful. And then lace and leaves ended up getting in a couple of Florida Ghosts. So I was able to contact her, and she doesn't do wait lists, so you have to like find out when the plants are coming to her store and go. And because of the COVID, of course, you had to have an appointment, go and hope that she still had a couple left. Lace and Leaves is honestly really good. When she has something like special, like if Florida Ghost or something that's in really high demand, she puts a limit on them, like 1 or 2 per customer, depending on what it is. I really love that she does that. She stopped doing wait lists, probably because it was like when you have a wait list that's like 300 people long, and you're getting these plants in like 6 at a time, and then you acclimate, like it's just, it's not feasible. That's like a 3-year long wait list. There's no point. So I'm not gonna bash her or any of the other plant stores who have chosen not to do wait lists. It just isn't viable. It's not a reasonable business model. Like if you have somebody on your wait list for 3 years, like they're going to say that that's bad customer service. But the reality is that if you're in a lineup and it takes you 3 years to get to the front of the lineup, that's not for customer service. It's just the plant isn't high demand, and there just aren't very many of them. So I did finally get a Florida Ghost from her. It has done beautifully. It's given me 3 new leaves. I think this one's the 4th. So you can see we have a new leaf. It's just gonna start unfurling. I absolutely love this plant. And then you can see in the bottom, I put it in with the big one. Oh, there you go. That's the one that I cut, I knocked the gross plant off 3 times. So now I've got 2 new leaves, and I haven't killed it yet. It's got another new leaf on the way even in there. So it's a very immature little plant, but once I put it in with this big one, I stopped bullying it, and it's much happier since. So this is just a really gorgeous plant. Like, leaves are just huge, and it's been really happy for me because the internodal spaces, so the space between each new leaf is very, very small. That's the philodendron, like Florida's, that's a good sign that it's a really happy plant. It's getting enough light, so I'm very pleased about that. If you're not super familiar with Florida Ghost, the leaves do turn solid green. Like, they come in. Here, you can see this leaf at the bottom here. It is like a light green color. That's not like a Florida Ghost mint. That's not really a thing. It's just, it doesn't have enough light that they're coming in bright white, but they can come in bright white. When I got it, the new leaf was quite white. Who's gonna get this button? No, dang. It's happier than I thought. I just repotted this like 3 months ago. Whatever. Anyway, the new leaves come in like really pale, and then they fade to darker green. And the petioles, the stem here that connects to the trunk of the plant to the leaf, this is the petiole. They come in this sort of like blushy pink color, and then they fade to green. It's just, I absolutely love this plant. I'm so glad that I did decide to go and get like a bigger one instead of like it's teeny one for cheap. I also looked on price. Like, Lakes and Leaves prices are always fantastic. I paid $75, and it was a 4-leaf plant when I bought it. It's lost, I think, 2 of the bottom leaves that came with it when I got it. Yeah, okay, so when I got it, it had this leaf, and this leaf, and this leaf, and then 1 more. So 4, and then this one was unfurling. So it's given me, this is the 3rd new leaf. I was wrong. This is the 3rd new leaf. But the last 2, this one was a month ago, and this one just now. So within the last month, 2 leaves basically. Anyway, I totally love that plant. It's one of my very favorites. It's beautiful. All right, we're coming about an hour. I don't think we have any planty questions. Let me just double check. Okay, I'll just quickly check then. The people who are currently watching, if you have a houseplant question, go ahead and ask, and I'll answer it. Otherwise, I think that's everything. Yeah, I think so. My next video that I'm going to do will be either, I don't really have a timeline yet, but my next video will be either like my top 10 houseplants that I got in 2020, my top 10 that I own right now. Or I remember doing like a beginning of the year starting video set of questions. So I might dig that up and do those questions again for this year. I don't know. We'll see. If you have thoughts of what you would like to see, go ahead and, like, once this video is up, go ahead and add that to the comments, or you can go to my Instagram and you can comment on one of my pictures, something that you'd like to see me do. Like I said, I'm not going to do a video per week right now. I'm just going to do them sort of as I feel like it. I won't be doing a ton of plant shopping. I can say that. Excuse me. For one, I've been on. This is my second time on layoff. So financially, I'm not doing a ton of plant shopping right now. But also,